Hey everybody, welcome back to Jitterbug Home Services. Today we're in Kissimmee doing a punch list job for a repeat customer. It could also be called a honey-do list, except that, well, it's just her that lives here alone. So she gave me a little bit of work, and I'm going to show you as much as I can of that, although she might be around while I'm doing it, so we'll see. The first two jobs of the day, I have to fix this soffit area. Just have to mount it back up to where it goes and put in that quarter round that goes right here just to match everything up. It's all going to get painted and sealed so that it matches. The other one is on this side. This wasn't painted before, so I need to clean all the leaves out and then paint all of this here and here, over here, to match this stuff. So pretty simple, a little tedious, but we'll do the best we can to get in there as much as possible. You all have heard me talk about my white trim screws in a few videos so far. I have them on a magnet on my wrist right now. And this is why I'd mentioned white is always nice that they're colored white, because, well, I'm going into white. Alright, I've got the trim put in. It's quarter round, but trim. And the soffit secured and caulking. It's trim caulking that I used up on this soffit. And I'll show it to you guys. There you go. There's just a ton of caulk. Anyways, it took about 10 minutes. I didn't show you the process because, well, if you watch me do quarter round and caulking on every video, you're going to stop watching my videos because you see it enough. So next up is primer, and it'll be Zinsser cover stain. I think you've heard of me using that before. It's a oil-based primer, and it's obviously, if it's oil-based, it's water resistant, and so it's perfect for an area like this. So anyways, I'm going to prime this, and then once that dries, I'm going to paint it. Customer has exterior white paint that should match up. She's also providing the greenish paint that's going on this siding when I go to do that. Alright, well, there you go. That was about 20 minutes work, and all done. Still needs to dry, but I'm not needed for that part. It's not like I'm going to stand here and blow on it. So it's going to dry up. We'll check it again before I take off, of course, but for the most part, I'd say that's done. So I'm moving on to the next project now. So the whole time I've been here, I've been trying to figure out exactly how I was going to paint this little area back here, the area that's getting painted green. And I'd like to use my sprayer, and it's kind of a 50-50 chance on if it works, because last time I tried to use my sprayer, it didn't turn on at all, but it had just been rained on, so maybe that's why. Anyways, I think what I'm going to do is cut in around every little thing that I don't really want to spray near. I have the paintbrush I'm using right now is a 3-inch, and that's my preferred for cutting. And it's the same one that I had just used for the white. I just washed it out. So now it's a little bit wet, which if you have some painters, that's preferred, is to use a wet brush when you're painting. And so anyways, I'm going to do my best to cut in. It's going to be kind of a difficult area to paint, only because there's so many tanks here. There may be overspray. If there is, it's not anything I could help. I do have my spray guard here, but these are all water softener tanks and pumps and stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna get on to cutting, and I blew out the area so you can see there's no leaves anymore. It's pretty clean. I mean, dirty, but clean. So anyways, I'm gonna cut all these areas, cut around this. I'm gonna do the best I can getting back into that mess and paint down as far as I can. I'm not gonna spray it obviously down there, just because I'll end up painting the tanks more than I paint the wall. And maybe I'll end up just brushing the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, keep on going. Alright, now that I've worked all the kinks out of this sprayer, because apparently I had a clog as well, I'll go ahead and show you guys how this works. This one uses air to spray paint onto the walls or surface, whatever. I also have an airless that usually stays at home because that one's more of a house painter, like when I'm painting an entire house or the entire interior of a house that's, you know, being redone or something like that. This one's more of a small project sprayer, and because I'm just doing this small area, I'm using this one, and it's also easier and smaller, easier to carry around. Let's see, this one's I think it's Wagner brand, 570, Flexio 570. Yeah, Wagner brand, you can see that right there. It's a nice sprayer. That's it right there. The paint goes in a little canister, and it's got a bunch of settings on it. I have it set to a high power, full width nozzle, and so I'm able to spray, you know, around everything for the most part. I've hit a couple of things, but it's probably not a big deal. If the customer cares, I could always take some alcohol or acetone or something like that and clean it off. So I don't think she's gonna care. Anyways, let me see if I can find a way to set you guys up so you can see how this works. There, that'll work. All right, watch me spray a little bit. Only thing it really wears out is the arm because it's not light. That's mainly because, well, it's full of paint. So obviously with this one you have to get a little bit closer to your surface than with an airless. But I mean, the airless also depends on the nozzle that you're using. This one doesn't have individual nozzles, but it does have settings for everything. I keep getting gunk on the end of this, so I keep having to clean it off. But once I clean it, it sprays a little bit better. I turned it so I can get the in-between parts here a little bit easier. So, makes life a little bit simpler. When I was brushing this, the paint onto this, it was giving me trouble because it's rough sawn, so it's not, you know, a nice smooth surface to take the paint, and also getting in those little crevices over and over was just difficult. Good, I oversprayed. Oh, I'll have to touch up that overspray. Definitely didn't mean to do that. Anyways, to protect from the overspray, even though obviously I didn't do it right there, I only have myself to blame for that. I have a spray shield that I managed to snap the stick off of, so I have to use it, you know, like this. That was the reason before why I was spraying with the nozzle the other direction, was because I didn't want to overspray. But you know, then you pull out a video camera and you stop paying attention to what you're doing and you make mistakes. And that's just the way it is. Not a big deal. That's why God gave us white paint too. Now we're working on toilets. So both of them are getting new flappers installed. I'll show you how to do that. It's really simple. But this one is going to get a new wax ring and new bolts on the flange. Reason. Just to get rid of it. Is when the customer stands up. Hit wobble. Pull this off and put a new ring on it and put new bolts in it, and then I'll put it back together. I'll make a mess of the floor. If you tip forward, it won't leak anything out. That's the trick. If you tip back, it will. Even though you emptied that, there's still water in the bowl. So you have to be mindful to either suck the water out, blow the water out, or just tip it in a way that's not gonna allow the water through. Looks like she has a crack in the bottom of this anyways, but let that go for now, it's not wet. There we go. All right. So the wax ring stayed on the flange. I have a putty knife around here somewhere. There it is. Clean this off. Fluid Master, better than wax. I hear plenty of bad things about these, but the Fluid Master brand, from my experience, has never had a problem. I've installed many of these, and what's really cool about them is I've found that even before you bolt the toilet down, it's completely watertight. So I have two bolts. There's that head again. These are breakaway bolts. See that piece right there? Once you screw down the nut, you can snap that off. That's what that's for. These are basically holder washers. So you put these in here, the bolt, spin it so it's gonna have a good catch. And of course it doesn't want to hold itself up. Put this over top. It grabs onto the thread, just push down. Once it's seated, you hold the bottom, pull the bolt up, and that holds it in place. Both. Back in here, spin it to catch. Let's go over top of this. Grab the bolt, pull up, push down. Hold that in place. Then, that's your better than wax seal. Foam. It's just like a silicone rubbery, right? Fits it over top. Obviously the bolts go through these holes. Sits right there. That's what the toilet's gonna match up to. So that's what it looks like before you put the toilet down. Again, pull towards yourself when you pick it up and leak a bunch of water, it looks like. That's okay. Dry all that up in a second. Towards yourself. Mainly what you're doing here, as you're lining those holes up with the bolts that are sticking out of the floor. There. Alright. Dry this up a little bit. And then start tightening those down. Alright, so the last toilet had too many problems, a bunch of cracks everywhere, so we're just going to do this one. This one sits fine, so all we're doing is a new flapper. Looks like a 2-inch, but we'll measure just to make sure. So first turn the water off flush it, water out. And just keep that held up for a little while, let all that water get out. Alright, so there's a hook right here on the flush valve, or on the flush handle. Take that hook off. There you go. And then these, I'll show you in a minute how this works. But they're just held on. These two little plastic spots right here. There's one. The other one. There we go. So those two arms right there, just hold on to the plastic arm down in there. That's pretty close. Alright, so we're going to call this one 2 inch. It's a nice measuring style without actually measuring anything. Here's a new flapper. Okay. Just like the other one, it's got the chain, it's got the hook. These arms obviously are flexible, so you can twist them to fit them over top of the plastic arms down in there. So you go in here and you put it over top of one, in there, come in there, put it over top of the other. So the thing that hurts flapper valves is actually chemicals, mostly bleach. But the best way to clean a toilet is bleach. So put those bleach tabs in your toilet, and the issue is it eats the flapper valves and it gets rid of the seal. So if you're going to use them, feel free. Just understand that you have to replace your flapper valves every once in a while. So you measure the chain up to the lever for flush, the toilet handle, right? And you also have to take into account the size of your hook that's going on. So if your hook's on there, see where the ring comes down to. This is just, doesn't need to be perfect, but it is a way to tighten everything up. So it looks like this one to me, keep it pretty snug. If it's wrong, I can always fix it. It's not that big of a deal. There. Just hooking it onto the chain. And before I put it all together, I'm going to measure it up, make sure it reaches correctly. So I'll have to do it again. Like I said, it's not a huge deal, but it's obviously not the easiest thing to work with because you gotta squeeze metal through metal. So, give it a little bit of play. That'd be fine. There. On there. That's it. All it takes. Real simple job. So, test it out. Turn the water back on. Of course, when you turn the water back on, just check that valve. I'm feeling down below with my fingers for any leaks. No wet fingers, means no leaky valve. So, pretty slow fill here, but probably use a new flush valve if you want it to fill faster, but unless you didn't make any comments about it, how fast it fills, so probably doesn't matter for now. I'll wait for this to fill up. Maybe I'll chat with her about a new flush valve for another project later on. Alright, fun little thing. You can read right there. It says resist chlorine. Another name for chlorine is bleach. So they're making them these days to try to resist the bleach that we clean them with. So far I haven't noticed that it's worked. None of them resist the bleach that sits in there. But they'll keep trying, that's okay.